Started in a minute. Hang in there. Let's just jump right in. Hi, everybody. Welcome. How are you? Hope your day is fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, and I'm grateful that you're here. And that's all I want to say about that, because we got so much stuff to cover. And yes, the countdown is still on vacation. The number that lets you know it's on one piece of never mind. It's not important. We're here. You made it. I made it. We're both here. It's fantastic. You're lovely. I still have to even click on my screen changes. I usually have a button that allows me to switch over, but that's not currently occurring. But that's all right. I don't mind. We're all right. We're good. Hello. There was sounds good now. Was there an echo? Oh dear. Hopefully I will fix that. I'll work on it. I didn't notice that part of it. It's entirely possible that it's possible. That it was possibly. Yeah, plenty of popcorn needed today. Yeah, it was nice to drop in on Tony Michael's show. I had a lot of family stuff today, so I couldn't stick around. I would have stuck around much longer. I feel like I got to school some fools about how to deal with the stress of the political cycle that we're in, because it's crazy silly and silly crazy. Okay, so I see yes. Okay, so Twitch is in the chat today. There they are. Hey, Twitch people, sound off. We see a couple of you, but I want to make sure that our Twitch people are doing all right. There's a slight echo since, oh, I know why. It might be let's see. It's not coming in anywhere else. Source after source after source after source. We don't know. Check. All right, I don't hear any other thing like that. I think it might just be something else. Well, we're fine. We're all right. It's all good. For 4 squirrels eating my bird seed. I don't know, then it's squirrel seed. At that point, once you get to that number, excellent. There's our Twitch folks. Hi. Yes, subscribe on Twitch, by the way. I'm not going to ever create a sub-only version of stuff. So if you want to help the show on Twitch, please subscribe. If you can only afford to follow, or you just want to bump the numbers elsewhere, then just subscribe to everything across the board, and that helps immensely. I appreciate it more than you guys can know. It's HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. I'm here practically every day for you, and quite frankly, after today, it's well, actually after tomorrow's morning show, it's just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. I have empty nest syndrome starting today, and we'll talk about that on the morning show. We don't have time for it in the afternoon show, but I appreciate you being here. And yes, I am wearing the classic La Brea tar pits, which is really the La Brea asphalt pits. Technically, tar is something you make from what it was. I'm not going to get into that. It's not important, but that is Smilodon californicus, which sounds dirty when I say it like that. Dirty. I know words. I have the best words. I really do. So I updated my CGI body. Did I? Yeah, I'm building. I added bigger pecs to it. I think it works well. I think it's smart. You know what I mean? Man, I have to tell you guys, this show has been a lot more relaxing to do since I built this metahuman in the Unreal Engine, and I can just do this whole show lying in bed. And it's just got a face tracker on me, and then it gestures based on AI. It's fantastic. Fornicus does make you smile. Californicus even more. Happy Indictment Day, number 3. So much. So it's just so good. All right, now he responded to it, so we'll jump right into his response. I want you to know he's doing very well. He's handling this great. You can tell by his fucking face. I looked for this on his Rumble page, which is where I normally find this ridiculousness, and his little messages to the world. And for whatever reason, CSL was able to find it on Dinesh D'Souza's repost. So maybe he just sent these out on his phone or in a one of those like fundraising emails, and it's just not available or visible on his site yet. But I'm excited to see it. I want to see how he's handling it. Apparently, he pled fake news today at the hearing. We'll see. But let's go for it. Oh, hold on. Our country is in a very bad state. It's terrible. I'm in a terrible state.
Dark place right now.
Isn't it?
But even after everything the deep state has done to me, I will never give up on America. Mark my...
America. Okay, first of all, shit is quiet, and I don't quite know why. I have this jammed up. And also...
country is in a very dark place right now.
Nah, I don't think it is, really. Actually, I think we got the lowest unemployment in 60 years. The gap between different racial groups as far as unemployment is narrowing so that it is uniform. That would be the goal, wouldn't it? Right? That there's no in particular, that you couldn't tell somebody's unemployment chances statistically if you didn't know what race that's what we'd be shooting for, arguably, if there's anything that we can even control in that. Sometimes maybe there isn't, but within whatever level of control we can have, that's what you want to do. You want to narrow it. He never did. He was always like, lowest black unemployment during the part where I was riding on Obama's coattails, economically speaking. But my tax cut was supposed to fix that, but fuck. But now it's actually narrowing. That's kind of important. I have something to show you right after this. I want to show you, this is a comparison. This is a former president of the United States. After this, I'm going to show you the current president of the United States and his response.
Now, but even after everything the deep state has done to me.
The deep state has done nothing to you. Did the deep state make you keep this shit? Did the deep state make you talk to Walt Nauta and tell him to sneak boxes out so you could hide shit in your desk? Did the deep state make you live in a rental property and make you incapable of having a fucking presidential library because you don't actually consider anywhere home? Did the deep state run you out of fucking New York? What deep state, you dick?
I will never give up on America. Mark my words.
Okay, so you're not moving to Saudi Arabia? Well, not so fast.
In 2024, we will win back the White House. We will make America great again. I have no doubt about it.
Well, then I would just plan on campaigning from jail then. Yeah, his voice is, the volume on this is just low. I've got it jacked as high as I can. I apologize.
They come at me from left. They come at me from right. The rhinos, the communists, the Marxists, the fascists.
The podiatrists, the oncologists, the proctologists, they're all after me. They're Ronnie Jackson, seen all those parts?
We will not only survive, we will be stronger than ever before.
If you strike me down, I will become... I'd rather not be struck down. I think in general, now that I've thought about it, I've had a chance to think about it, and I retract. If you strike me down, I'm going to tell my psychotic followers to attack innocent people. That's what Obi-Wan said, right? That's what he said. If you strike me down, Darth, I'll make Luke shoot at you.
We're fighting a fight like nobody ever thought possible.
We're fighting a fight like no one's ever fought. When we fight, and we fight. I couldn't fight more if I was words in Cenk Uygur's head.
And we're winning. We won in 2016. We had a rigged election in 2020, but got more votes than any sitting president. We're going to win like never before.
Which is called losing, I think. If you win like never before, then you didn't win. You did the opposite, because lots of people have won lots of different ways. What are you going to you win like never before? You mean by cheating massively on your own? We're going to win with the help of the villages. We're going to let them vote 10 times.
And we're going to make America great again. I can truly say, I believe, better than ever before.
Better than ever before. Beteb. Maga Beteb. Magoo Beteb. Beteb. Better than ever before. Beteb. Beteb. I liked it. You know, I heard Beteb. I heard B. And then Deteb. Beteb. Magoo Beteb.
Thank you for all of your support and for all of your prayers. The country is in a very dark
What has he got on a
place
loop?
right now. But even after everything, the deep state.
Yeah, he did. It's less than that. Yeah, he just loops it twice. What's this? What's that right there? Is there subliminal messaging in this shit? What's happening? I guess not. Well, I don't know.
Possible, and we're winning.
Hold on. I gotta play, because I don't know. Hold on. He was saying,
I know words. I have the best words. Look, wait. Obama. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges.
Deliberately, willfully, and with total premedication.
right.
Made a pivotal, really manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of dust. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well. The diversity lottery. And God bless the United States.
That's a great statement. I'm glad he finally made that. I'm glad I was able to find a louder version of it too, because the audio was a little off on the original. Now, can we dump over to one that this might? Ew, that was disappointing. This is the top video right now on his, that isn't an ad, on his Rumble page, and this is Iowa caucus instructions. I gotta say, like, I love his political statements. I think they're fantastic. I love his command of the English language.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges.
Right. And but in this particular case, I want to know how he tries. Is this him? Did they play this on monitors in Iowa at the caucuses or something? I don't know. Or is this just for his volunteers? I can't wait.
Hello, Iowa.
Hello, Iowa. Oh boy. I had someone dig up Larry King. I'm borrowing his vocal cords.
Hello, Iowa. Since we began this journey 8 years ago.
Since we began this journey 8 years ago. That's loud. Sorry. That's painful. 1 second. Since we began this journey, swear to me.
Your great state has always held a very special place in my heart. As president, I defended Iowa ethanol like nobody else has ever done before.
Like nobody has ever defended ethanol or whatever. I was like, they want to take your ethanol. Like, not going to let them do it. Not letting them do it. I was like, put corn right in the gas tank. I don't know how car engines have worked without it. You know, it's like cars are like me, you know, no matter what you put in the front, corn always seems to come out. Sorry.
I fought for our farmers like
He fought for our farmers? Fortin' for the farmers, fortin' again. Go fort yourself.
Held a very special place in my heart. As president, I defended Iowa ethanol like nobody else has ever done before. I fought for our farmers.
I fought for our farmers. I built a pillow fort for all the farmers. I was farting all over the farmers. I farted for my former at the former. I fought for our farmers. Right, cut. We're 15 seconds in. You can't fucking stop and roll. Jesus Christ.
Always held a very special place in my heart. As president, I defended Iowa ethanol like nobody else has ever done before. I fought for our farmers like nobody has ever done before.
But nobody, who put nobody has ever done before in the teleprompter twice? What kind of an like I need to be told to say that after every fucking thing. What's it? You're fired and well, I'm not going to fire you. Where's the producer that tells me who to fire?
I ended NAFTA and replaced it with USMCA.
Yeah, which sounds a lot better than I modified NAFTA, largely just window dressing and a name change.
Greatest trade deal we've ever made in our country, NAFTA being the worst. I stood up to China like no president in his
Has ever done before.
history, taking in $28 billion for our farmers straight out of
And 12 for myself, although I already spent it.
the tariffs China was paying. And I protected Iowa's first in the nation status. I was the one that got it for you and kept it for you, and I said I would.
I got it for you. Okay, so Iowa, congratulations. I hope you can handle being first in the nation. I didn't realize that Trump arranged for that in 2020. I mean, you guys must feel rushed right now that you, right.
But now it's time to finish the job of making America great again.
Which is kind of what Biden is saying, but like with better language and not borrowing from like racist phrases from the 1930s.
On January 15th, 2024, Iowans will come out to participate in the legendary Iowa precinct caucuses, so important for our country.
So important, and it's first. It's a caucus, and I understand caucuses are like, you know, well, like mine. It's smaller.
I need all of my supporters to make sure you are registered Republicans in order to participate in this incredible Iowa tradition.
And I need you to show up wearing stupid shirts with me at Rocky's body. I need nobody show up with me in drag with kissing Rudy Giuliani. Don't wear those shirts. Wear the ones where I look all macho and stuff. And because if you wear Trump merchandise, like this hat that says Magoo Bateb, if you wear the brand new Magoo Bateb hat, then your vote counts 4 times. If you don't believe me, ask people in the villages. It's easy to find them. Care of the Dade County prison system, post office box.
Very important that you register Republican.
Do you see why he needs to make this video? See why they're having a problem? Why he knows he's going to lose some of these primary races and stuff because his own supporters, he's called all the Republicans rhinos so often that they're dumping the party. It's almost like, I don't know, organizing and establishing a functioning party might actually have a purpose long term if you actually have some fucking goals.
The caucuses are one night only, just one night. Turn around our country. An evening where you will gather with your friends, family, and neighbors at your precinct caucus location and cast your vote for, hopefully, it's got to be, or a country's not going to make it, President Donald J. Trump.
I want you to be there. Hopefully, if you're going to do it. If you're not, I hope you get lost on the way by.
To take part in our campaign and for additional information about where you will caucus,
none of your goddamn business.
I need you to sign up at ia.donaldjtrump.com. Once again, that's ia.donaldjtrump.com.
I don't know what the IA stands for. Maybe I'm an asshole. Perhaps. I think they're fucking with me again. This sounds like something Steve. That sounds like bad English. It sounds perfect. And I love the uneducated. I love them. I love how uneducated they are. I'm going to introduce me. Hello, Iowa. IA Donald Trump. But properly it's Ann, right? I am Donald Trump.
It all starts in Iowa on January 15th, 2024. We kept it there, first in the nation. With your help, we will evict Joe Biden, the most corrupt president we've ever had in history. The history of our country, we've never had anybody.
No, in the whole history, not in all the history of other countries. He's the most corrupt president in countries that have never actually been democracies. He's the most corrupt president that monarchies have ever had. He's the most corrupt president that China, Russia, they have.
So corrupt as this.
Corrupt? What?
We will evict.
Hold on.
Joe Biden, the most corrupt president we've ever had in history. The history of our country, we've never had anybody so corrupt as this.
Yeah, I agree. We've never had someone so corrupt. Fucking hell. corrupt. You are corrupt, sir. What? You just said it right. Usually he fucks it up the first time, and then he like he takes another roll at it. You know what I mean? Like he, when he misses a word.
Made a pivotal, really. Look, wait.
Usually he backs up and says it right. Sometimes, not usually. When he bothers, he tries to fix it. So he what the most corrupt?
We will evict Joe Biden, the most corrupt president we've ever had in history.
Okay, so you can pronounce it correctly, and then what?
The history of our country, we've never had anybody so corrupt as this.
Right. Yeah. They have another angle, right? They shoot you from here too. You could have cut right after so corrupt, and then whatever this sentence is.
But we're going to evict him from the White House, and we will take back our country. We will make America great again, and it all starts with Iowa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. He always looks like he's gonna barf right as it happens. Right. Hold on. Whoops. Get out of here, you cranky bastard.
We're going to evict him from the White House, and we will take back our country. We will make America great again, and it all starts with Iowa. Thank you very much.
So, Iowa is Trump country. That's great. Is the sales pitch there? Much better audio than this mess, wherever the fuck he is here, wearing one of Biden's ties, I think, which is so very odd.
Combat infantrymen.
Right, something like that.
We just set another stock rocket. You saw that, right?
I did see that. And you know who we can thank for that is Joe Biden, interestingly enough, who made a statement on the day that Trump was arraigned, which I think is pretty hilarious. You want to hear it? Hold on. Maybe some of you have. Let's go straight to, there we go. This right here.
I like my coffee dark.
Yeah, you know what? Here one of the best reasons to vote for Joe Biden in all the stuff that's going on, I gotta say, is the fact that he's a good sport. I'm dead serious. Like, he's definitely got an Irish temper, bless his heart. God knows I've got a bit of Irish in me, and on occasion it might come out, don't you know? But he's he's pretty good with rolling with that shit, and like Trump would, if there was like a Dark Donald thing that they were doing, like, you could tell he'd be like, I don't know, what do you think? Have we tested it with people? Are they okay? I don't know. People think they like it. I don't know. I said it was going to be terrible, and yet here it is, and we're good. But like, it's it's ridiculous. But you guys aren't. You guys are wonderful. Welcome to the show. It's HAL Sparks, Mega Worldwide. It's a Thursday night. It's crazy. Yes, and Biden does apologize if he needs to. He also doesn't take shit from Peter Doocy. He's a good sport, especially considering what's thrown at him. Absolutely. Well, I mean, he stood there and watched as Obama had to deal with this shit about his wife being a man and him being closeted and gay with this other dude, and trying to be good to like the LGBT community while being shit on from that direction. So you just, even saying I'm straight seems like a defensive thing in those situations to some folks. So it's a fucking juggle. As somebody who was on Queer as Folk, I can tell you that's the politics of that can be a weight on your shoulders trying to make sure that you're honest about who you are, but allowing other people to be honest to who they are and being good to them. And at the same time, this whole like Kenya birth certificate bullshit that, he sat there and watched Obama go through that because of his skin color. So the rest of this shit, like, that may be character or personality based that he gets from Trump, like, I mean, that stuff, fuck off. Yeah, but the tan suit. But my tan suit. Like, subscribe, join the show in any way that you can. Now, there's obviously, not everybody is taking this well. Some people are taking it worse than others. some people, I don't know if, I don't know. Does crying make your eyes that red and glassy? Hasn't been my experience. Maybe he was tear gassed, or perhaps it's los drogas. This is Don J. He's on John Bachman Now. How do you Bachman Now? Which is what I would if my name was Bachman and I had a show, it would be called How Do You Bachman Now. So stupid. All right, this is him going like about how this is great for Trump and it just makes him better and the country won't survive it, but it's awesome. Also, he likes it and he's tough and we gave up everything to run for president.
All right, let's bring in now the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, Donald.
Who's looking at his notes right now that were just mailed to him, were just sent to him on his iPad by his dad's attorney.
Trump Jr. joining us today. Good to see you, Don.
Thanks for coming on.
Good to be with you guys. How are you?
Is it really, though, considering why?
We're doing good. How's your dad? Have you spoken to him recently?
It's good. Because did they look in your butthole when you're that old? I've always wondered, because you're probably not, at that age, you're not smuggling drugs into jail. More than likely, if it's anything, it's nobody sneaks dones into prison in there. All right.
I mean, we watch this and
That's
sort of America.
Yeah, it's a big question. It's funny. Ask him again.
Is watching this together. We kind of take a collective sigh and say, an arraignment for the former president in D.C., 10 minutes from the White House?
It's weird. It's like he's collecting all five.
Yeah, listen, I laugh because at this point it's like Taco Tuesday. It's a regular occurrence. It usually happens right after actual criminal stuff is found on Hunter and or Joe Biden. Amazingly enough,
really, actual criminal stuff. Actual criminal stuff, such as
these things drop the day after that, and all.
It's weird. Yeah, it's almost like the Republicans find out when the arraignment date has been set for, or find out when the from their contacts in the DOJ what the date of them releasing some of this stuff is, or when Jack Smith's going to release the indictment or any of that stuff, and then they call in a witness to try and dirty up the news cycle. It's weird that way, isn't it? Because again, one of these people has more control. One of these groups has more control over the news cycle than the other one does. The indictments and the stuff against Trump follows a very legal basis as far as when these things occur, when they get on the calendar, when they, if anybody hears an objection and they have to come back in. All that stuff is in the real world. Whereas Comer and Jim Jordan and all these things like calling in Devin Archer, that's on their schedule. They just insist on it. And the great thing about how they do it for their side of this, the bullshit side of the argument, is that if they set it for Monday and he did show, and they could say, he said, no matter what he said. And it turned out, obviously, because, some of us actually read through the fucking thing. That they're like, this guy, he said some naughty things about the naughty. And then none of it doesn't have to turn out to be true later. Goes on, they'll bring something else up in the cycle the next time a date comes up that embarrasses Trump.
All of the people that I've listened every time my father tweeted Merry Christmas that said it was bigger than Watergate. Those people are strangely silent right now with everything that we're finding out about the.
Every time he tweeted Merry Christmas, it was bigger than Watergate. I've heard that doing too much cocaine makes you exaggerate more than any time in American history. But I don't know that that's true.
Biden's mainstream media, even some of your competition on the conservative side of media.
It means Fox, I guess. No, technically. Newsmax considers Fox their competition. Fox does not consider Newsmax competition.
Eschewing the January 6th talking points. I mean, we're really living in crazy times. I spoke to my father the other day, right after.
The other day. I got news for you. If my dad was being arraigned, we'd speak. It's interesting to me that one of the stories that came up in the Devin Archer testimony was that in the 10 years that they worked together and hung out a lot and all that stuff, he said that Joe Biden called Hunter every single day, and he'd call him twice after Bo had died, because just to check on him, and they would check on each other and all that stuff. So in that process, like, what you learn is that family is very fucking close, and most of the time, like I said, they're talking about just pleasantries and hangouts and whatever. When his father is being arraigned today, was indicted, had his, he was indicted previous, but his indictment was unsealed for the public to see it. And he's like, yeah, I spoke to him a little while ago. I find that sad.
It was announced, and honestly, he was doing great. We were laughing about things. Now,
oh, we are laughing.
Not that it's not serious, but I think everyone understands exactly what's in play. Each one of these things, I think,
man, this looks really fucking OJ. I'm just saying.
Only solidifies that to the American people, just how far we have fallen as a country, just how corrupt the Biden administration and their weaponized form of government is. And,
democracy is, that's their form of government, just for the record.
Hopefully that wakes up people, because, this doesn't.
No. I mean, I don't know what you mean by wake up. I'm concerned that what you mean is lone wolf go nuts.
End well for our country, for our civilization. This is scary stuff. And it was happening in third world banana republics. We'd be doing something about it, but it's happening right here.
We would? Why would we intervene if a former leader was getting their day in court and due process, and they were able to maintain their passport and go anywhere they wanted to while they sought a judicial remedy of their own and had every outlet available to them to speak to the public about it? I'm just saying, there's a lot about this that doesn't ring true in terms of the whole Banana Republic thing. In terms of, I'm used to those people being like driven into a field and then that field being set on fire. You know what I mean?
Here at home in America, it's scary.
Well, on that note, and kind of piggybacking to Bianca's question, about your dad. Look, this is the enormity, the weight of the pressure that he's under right now.
Well, he's been carrying that weight for a long time or whatever. Have you seen what he eats?
As strong as he is, as many...
I've not been downwind of him, but I'll take your word for it.
Talented, smart people as he has around him.
Had. You mean all the people who wouldn't work with him ever again and are afraid that if he wins the presidency, he'll destroy the country? Those folks?
This has got to be incredibly stressful for him. And as his son, it must be a concern about how he's dealing with this. I know he plays golf and that's therapeutic, but...
It is therapeutic, especially when you're playing it with the Saudis, I find, or old mob lawyers a lot, or people who used to get massages at Jeffrey Epstein's house. Yeah, it's therapeutic.
Do you talk to him about, Dad, how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I say those sentences. I don't wait for the answer, though. Honestly, the blow affects my hearing.
How are you feeling? I know you were just kind of sharing some of the color, how he's laughing about it. But, man, I mean, anybody would crack under this. But your dad, he's facing it. And not only that, not only the indictments, but a campaign. He's in the middle of a campaign. Have you talked to him about how he's feeling? Yeah.
I'd say we're probably built a little different, and I think we've gotten used to it.
We're sociopaths. We don't care. Yeah, the world revolves around us. We have a Trumpiocentric view of the universe, and there's always somebody else to throw under the bus, and that's a great. It's therapeutic. Throwing people under the bus is very therapeutic. And our family has known that for generations.
To this, right? One of the things we were literally joking about was, hey, I remember back during the Russia days where the head of the Intelligence Committee wanted to try me for treason, a crime punishable by death. That's become the norm for us. This is how the
What, treasonous behavior? I think we've discovered the problem, folks. I think it is. You've stepped on it, Don. You finally, maybe, what's the there's a phrase, there's a line in a movie that keeps coming. Stop breaking the law, asshole! You know what I mean? Like, that's the one I think that sums up the Trump family and their inner circle more than any other movie quote in history. Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Democrats function. Republicans, need to get a backbone and start fighting back and doing something about it, not just, saying nice things on TV or Twitter. They actually, use the appropriations process, stop some of the funding of this insanity. But no, literally, I was joking with my father. I was like, oh, well, now one of the charges in the new one is literally, they could bring up the death penalty in there. I was like, oh, we have more in common now. We both share that together. So whether
my dad and I had a good laugh about how, but we're now both charged with an enemy level attack on the United States Constitution. That's, you know what I mean? It's, if only Grandpa would have been alive, he'd probably been charged as well, because if he was still around, he would have joined us in the scheme. Yeah.
We're built differently, or whether it's just, we've gotten so accustomed to this. We're not supposed to be. That's not supposed to be, a normal reaction. But for anyone who's been watching, this didn't start, 2 months ago with the first indictments. This started 8 years ago, 7 years ago with the original Russia.
No, it absolutely didn't. It's this shit started January 6th in the case of the most recent indictment, and the rest of it that we're dealing with, the only thing that started back, previous to the 8-year cycle was the financial stuff in New York. But the stuff that's going to have his ass is the documents case. And that started on January 21st, 2020 or 2021, because that was the next day when it was technically after noon of that day or whatever, that he was in possession of documents he was not legally allowed to have. And they played nice with him for a fucking year. And during that year, he fought them and engaged in a criminal conspiracy. And so June of 22, is it 22? Yeah, it all bleeds together. June, I think 21 or whatever. It might all be together. Like, it's just because of the war. It all seems to happen at once. That's when he engaged in a criminal conspiracy to keep those documents, hide them, and then perhaps share them with our enemies.
Then they impeached Trump for actually asking about Joe Biden's corruption. That seems like it's...
No, it wasn't the ask. The ask was investigate him, and then I'll give you the weapons. Because if they could, I got news for you, dum-dum. If they could prosecute you for just asking, he would have gone to jail for Russia. If you're listening, I hope you can find the 35,000 emails, right?
Pretty evident now. They impeached Trump for asking about what Joe Biden did. I mean,
No, they didn't. No, asking about it wasn't the problem at all. Demanding activities in exchange for foreign aid that he was already legally obligated to give, because Congress had already passed the bill and it had already been signed to go out the door, because he wasn't even smart enough to use his power of veto. Like, they're sending me this and I might veto it, and you might want to help me out here, which would have given him a little more legal wiggle room, and he could have just made up a fucking reason. I mean, we still would have heard the fucking phone call, but...
Think about that.
Well, I'm glad you went there, because
about doing it to Joe Biden.
That came up with the Devin Archer testimony, a key point there about Victor Shokin and about the pressure that Hunter was on. You're a son of a president here. We learned also from this testimony that there apparently was the Biden brand. Who knew that they had a brand that they...
They do. It's apparently honesty and family integrity and competency. It's sort of the alternate, the exact opposite of the Trump brand. So I wouldn't worry about there being any brand crossover you guys have to, or you're in totally different markets.
They wanted to sell too, that they were, talking about. Your reaction to that testimony transcript that just dropped a few hours ago.
Yeah, and how do you feel that your dad slathers his fucking name on everything, and yet nobody describes it as a brand except him? Whereas the Biden family actually can say they have a brand, like a lot of people do, and people understand that it exists.
When you read it and look through it, it's about 145 pages, so I'm sure people have skimmed it and the highlights there. How do you have...
Yeah, they've skimmed it. You've skimmed it, haven't you? Comer skimmed it. He wasn't there, so he had to.
How do you react to some of the confirmation of, calls that were going on, dinners, Paris, China?
But guys, we all knew this.
No, you didn't.
This is,
No, you thought you knew something awful was going on, or something corrupt was going on, or at least you pretended to, and it wasn't.
Testimony's now in the official transcript, but are we pretending that everyone didn't know?
Do you know?
The FBI had
Guys,
stuff on this stuff going back to 2018.
The FBI had some stuff on this stuff.
Allowed him to run. They allowed him to win. Nothing.
They allowed him to run. They allowed him to win. So, So they allowed your dad to lose? How dare they?
Happened. If they could have, they would have swept it under the rug. Our Justice Department 2 weeks ago wanted to give Hunter his sweetheart deal, not just for the tax evasion, not just for the criminal gun possession, but blanket immunity for literally anything and or everything else he may have done that hasn't yet surfaced. Or, again, I wrote a book about this.
Well, ultimately, it was too vague for the judge.
I wrote it in the summer of 2020. I wrote liberal.
Also, there's an argument that they were the prosecutors and others, and mostly Republicans, were worried that Hunter Biden would be able to come back in the future if they decided to go after him for other shit and say, wait a minute, we had immunity, and because we talked about some of these things when we were in open discussion about the plea deal, and if you take some of the stuff that we talked about during the plea deal and you use it against me later, then what was the plea deal about? You're just using it to milk other charges later, and that's bad for justice, one would say. So, because you could claim that they said anything during that period of time if you made contemporaneous notes that were false, and then you could draw back from it later after you'd already made the plea deal. Now, that said, that's basically the language that they're adding, and it'll happen in a couple weeks.
Privilege talking about many of these things. These were known.
They were known.
It's known in D.C.
It's known.
It's a thing. And
it is a thing. No, they had thingy things. They were, the FBI had things on these things that were a thing back when things used to be a thing, when my dad was running the place.
Yet our government has choose to ignore it. This weaponized.
It's choose. Has choose. Did he say choose or has choose? And they just choose it out? Where? These new teeth? They're new teeth, aren't they?
Justice Department has choose to ignore it, and instead.
Has choose. Has, he said choose. Yeah, twice. That's twice. Has choose.
Go after.
Pass the choose. It's all right. Who cut the choose?
Not just their political enemies and their competition like Donald Trump. That's pretty disgusting. But these people have been.
You're right. Donald Trump is pretty disgusting.
Going after Catholics who.
Catholic, yeah, just Catholics in general. And they did it in the sneakiest way possible by electing one.
Would pray outside of an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
They've gone.
Again, I don't think they're getting busted for praying outside an abortion clinic, because technically speaking, anybody who is not praying inside an abortion clinic is technically praying outside an abortion clinic. That's there aren't that many. I mean, these assholes think there's one on every corner, but I just want to point out that I'm outside technically an abortion clinic right now. Really far outside. As a matter of fact, so far, I don't know even which direction to point if I was hoping to find one. But I mean, Google Maps are a thing.
After and labeled concerned mothers who, don't want their children indoctrinated by the radicals that are running the school.
Oh yeah, this is the parents are terrorists. Not just the parents that actually threatened to murder the vice principal or what have you. Just anybody. The FBI just wants to weaponize parenthood.
Boards.
The movie, of course,
A parent at a school board meeting has been labeled domestic terrorist.
Nope. No, they were actually labeled that after the meeting when they threatened to murder the vice principal specifically.
Yeah,
Not because they
it's an
did
upside
anything
down world.
violent, but for questioning, that narrative or not wanting their children simply indoctrinated. Like, how about our kids maybe, I don't know, learn math? Is it that complicated?
No. And I'm just saying it's hard to learn math if the entire school is in mourning because one of the lunatic followers of Donald Trump, who's a maggot QAnon psychopath, has blown up the vice principal or shot through the window of the social studies teacher.
Those people have been labeled domestic terrorists.
No, they haven't.
Now, actual domestic terrorists, like, the magical car that drove itself through a Christmas parade in, I guess it was Wisconsin, well, that's, the car did it, obviously, not the idiot driving the car, right? That's the insanity in.
Yeah, well, that is, describing it that way is insane. That guy went to jail. That was a crime. What's the confusion? Is this, does he think that because of the Hunter Biden gun charge, that Republicans would not be, would not want charged under any circumstances except for it's Hunter Biden, are suddenly operating on an idea that Democrats have taken it to the absolute extreme where people don't kill people, runaway vehicles kill people.
Which we live right now. Those are the people that are making decisions. The people who, had nothing to say about the summer of love, burning, looting, arson, rioting,
Well, okay, so you're not talking about Joe Biden anymore because he was like, protests are worthwhile, but any violence is criminal.
Taking over buildings.
Taking over buildings. He takes it personally, I think.
Had no problem locking up people for January 6th. Some people.
No. Well, I mean, it was difficult in some cases because they had to go pick these assholes up because they'd already gone home, and they're lunatics who are armed to the teeth.
Who were there simply as tourists taking selfies, walking between the velvet ropes.
Yeah, that's all they were doing. They were just tourists taking selfies, walking between the velvet ropes. That's all they were doing. Now, they had to step over the body of an unconscious police officer to do that, but, I mean, here's the thing. What is sexual assault a crime, or are we just charging people for washing up after?
We're watching as your father just arrived at Newark Liberty Airport to board Trump Force One to head.
It does look like Newark.
To Washington, D.C. I want to get your thoughts and your reaction to a Washington Post story about Obama and Biden meeting up. Obama warning about your dad's political strengths in a private talk with Joe Biden. Apparently, according to the Post, former President Obama promised in the White House lunch to do all he can for President Biden's reelection. I'm wondering, though, if the former president will still feel that way if the allegations of corruption and bribery are indeed proved to be true. Do you think?
Wow, you know what? It's an excellent question. Probably not. I mean, he worked with the guy for 8 fucking years, and during the time that we're talking about, where literally he had control of the entire intelligence apparatus of the country, and if his vice president was engaged in some shaky shit, he would be able to actually respond to it or call Joe in and go, "Hey, Joe, knock it off." But in the meantime, well, I guess the primary thing is that, can you guys prove it? Ever. Fucking ever. Ever. Get to it. And, all right, I'm going to show you guys some stuff from the Devin Archer testimony that, in particular, it's so beautiful to see some of the things that I've been talking about work their way into official proceedings. That's all I'm going to say.
He will, or are we starting to see? Are we starting to? Okay, go ahead.
Guys, are we pretending? Are we pretending that these people have any shame? Joe Biden's an imbecile. He can't get up a flight of stairs.
Your dad can get up a flight of stairs. Sometimes there's toilet paper attached to his shoe, but he can't ride a bicycle or drive a car. That said, your dad was beaten handily by an imbecile who apparently didn't even have to leave his own basement.
He can't remember where he is. He can't remember how to get off a stage that he.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about Trump, man, is that you get these situations where there's like zero fucking mistakes. You know what I mean?
Deliberately, willfully, and with total premeditation.
To be a sanctuary. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports.
You know.
Wildlife refuges. I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife.
I agree.
Yosemite.
Yeah. What could possibly...
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
I know.
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
But at least he gets people's names right.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
Okay.
Entered minutes before. You know, it's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the dumb idiot that will sign anything that they put in front.
Wow. Projection.
So the radicals who are actually in charge, the radical communists who are pulling...
The radical communists who are... Shit. I haven't... Has anybody checked the economy lately? I mean, well, you got radical communists in charge. Bloomberg must be totally like a red page by now, just like, let's see. Let's see, where's the, how do you make this thing go close? Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe it's the labor part of it, I guess. That's the whole thing, because U.S. labor market is still kicking, keeping the economy churning. It's that time again. The monthly jobs report, set for release at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, is expected to show the labor market still kicking. Economists estimated the U.S. Added 200,000 jobs in July, about the same as in June, while the unemployment rate held near its lowest level in decades. Persistent strength of the labor market has been a bit of a mystery, and a welcome one, of course, to economists. Biden-oconomists, given how fast the Federal Reserve has increased interest rates. In fact, the unemployment rate is expected to remain at the same level it was when the central bank first started raising rates over a year ago, 3.6%. Soft landing, anybody? Jesus Christ. Who knew Marxists and communists were so fucking good at capitalism? What a dipshit.
The strings. They love Joe Biden.
They love Joe Biden
because they're actually accomplishing much more towards what they want to achieve with Joe Biden than they ever could with Barack Obama. Because
why? Because he has a longer economic record and he's getting out of Afghanistan was actually great for the fucking country.
Barack Obama wouldn't destroy his legacy to do so.
Well, we clearly know if your dad wins.
That are so flagrantly anti-American, but they'll happily throw Joe Biden under there. These people don't have any shame. They don't play by the rules. They don't care about decency or our Constitution.
Yeah, the projection is strong with this
or
one.
Anything. They're just playing to win. We're playing t-ball while they're playing hardball, and they're.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think I appreciate that he admits it, at the very least. I think it's good that Don is finally admitting that Trump is shockingly and perhaps blissfully for his family out of his league. And that Sleepy Joe has been mopping the fucking floor with him for years now. Literally years.
Playing for keeps. That should be really evident to people. So Joe Biden's...
Well, you weren't playing for keeps. So you're saying your dad was kind of like, what, jacking off while he was in the White House? He was just kind of, it didn't really matter. He didn't realize, he was just kind of, first term, you're just kind of like feeling the place out, seeing how far you can go, what you can get away with.
Just the guy that signs the, whatever the radicals are putting in front of him. He's nothing more.
Yes, the radical infrastructure bill, the radical CHIPS Act, the radical bills that the squad usually is the only people who don't want to come on board with.
To them, then that of course they'll go all in.
But that's all obviously. I mean, that's they're posing. That's it. They wrote it. They're just pretending not to like it to sell it.
Regardless of what happens.
We clearly know though, if your dad gets in though, that all goes away there. The swamp note.
Yes, the infrastructure, any function of government, it will be destroyed if he gets in.
Well, that's why they fear him so much, because they know he's the only Republican. Hey, now he's got an axe to grind. Now he also knows
What, he never had an axe to grind before? What, oh, before he wasn't grabbing women by the pussy because he was mad at them. He was just doing it because he could. Now he's going to grab them because those bitches are responsible for me being in legal trouble. Oh, E.G. Carroll.
He didn't have the advantage of having that inside baseball coming in as a total outsider.
He had 4 fucking years. What's this asshole's learning curve? Jesus Christ. How long before you go to university do you know where the fucking bar is?
In 2016, now he knows.
Now he knows after he lost. All it took was for him to win when he didn't expect to win and lose when he expected to win. And, now he knows. Now he knows that he's a loser and he feels it.
And that's why he's such a threat to them. That's why they keep adding more and more and more.
They didn't add this, right? He's the one who arranged with Walt Nauta and all these assholes to fucking hide these documents, dummy. Nobody made him do this. These are all self-inflicted wounds. If he'd have fucked off after the 21st and just sat it out for a year, gave everybody back just here, take all your documents, I give a shit. Fuck this place. And grew a beard like Al Gore, he'd have a genuine shot of the Republican primary without having to wipe everybody out through attrition.
Hoping just to get him one little way because...
One little way. No. We are not trying to get him one little way. We're trying to get him in a big way for the big shit he did.
They don't want the threat to their power taken away. And he's the only one that's a threat.
And by the way, their power, he was talking about voters.
2 quick questions. One is your dad planning on saying anything this evening after some of these other indictments? He's given some speeches. Number 1. Number 2.
Will we be able to hear him talk over the diarrhea? This is only making me stronger. No diaper.
I know he met with some executives with another network about doing a debate. Is that going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure.
I don't talk to him. I mean, you should call somebody who talks to him more often, like Boris Epstein, although we're pretty sure he's co-conspirator number 6 right now, so he might be busy.
They're there kissing his butt to make sure he does it, telling him that, whatever it is to make it happen, because I think no one would tune in to watch a bunch of people polling at 0.2% debate. I think that would probably be a ratings disaster for them.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would tune in just to see how much he's mentioned and how much they feel comfortable shitting on him without him being there. That seems easy enough. I think it's almost more watchable.
There's 2 parts of it. The guy that puts out memes on a daily basis, I sort of want to see him debate because I think it'll be great for content.
And that's what I do now. That's as the vice president of the Trump organization. I am sort of the executive secretary in charge of memeing my own father.
I think, on the other hand, the tactician in me says,
come on. The tactician thought that going on television wearing that shirt, considering the moraying of patterns, was a good idea? Fucking hell.
Why on earth would you let that person polling at 0.2%, knowing full well their only chance of being even remotely relevant is if they come at the king.
The king.
Why would you give that person, 2 hours of unfettered access to dump on you? That doesn't make any sense. So
I don't know. I think if you were the king, you would welcome that 2 hours of unfettered access so you could show everybody who the fucking king is. I wouldn't worry about it. Let me tell you something. I would, if you put me tonight on a debate stage with the Republican Party, all those people running, and I just made a list of relatively normal bipartisan ideas, I could fucking lay waste to everybody up there on kitchen table, normal, democratic, bipartisan issues. Seriously, it wouldn't even be difficult. And I don't even like the party. I don't even like the other people running. We don't even share the same solutions. And I could stand there and give them what for. And And I wouldn't go into that considering myself the fucking king of the Republican Party. King D's nuts.
I would hope he doesn't do it.
Because I spoke to him a little bit ago, and it wouldn't be good.
Don't know if he has remarks planned for tonight after the thing. I imagine.
I mean, you'll have to ask his son.
He'll say something. You know, he's not one of these guys that needs to pre-plan these things or pre-script them.
He might want to start. I'm just saying, there are a couple of areas where
the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Maybe, I don't know, just maybe think shit through a little bit, you know?
First Lady's doing great, and I would say fully recovered or just about fully recovered, but we are fully recovered, and I am.
Fuck it, just wing it.
You know, what you see is what you get, so I imagine he'll have some.
Yes, syphilis.
Probably off the cuff remarks later on, but I hadn't actually spoken to him.
Off the cuff. Yeah, he's not gonna say anything. He's gonna be mad. He's gonna have somebody post on Truth something he rages in the car
today about what's going on.
Gotcha.
Well,
gotcha. Thanks so much. And the pressure is just making him stronger. It's so much good, you know, that you could. It's just great, and he's having a great time, and that he's got nothing to worry about.
You're gonna frack.
They don't like the gas. Illegal. Look.
Yeah, we're good. So, anyways, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide, and like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. It's a Thursday, and it's a, how can I put this with you guys? Because you're lovely. It's a tough week. It's been a tough week. Just that's all I'm gonna say. On a personal level, and one of the bright spots beyond, of course, my family and their beauty and their loveliness is you guys. So thank you for being here and spending your time with me. It means a lot, and I hope I add value in this. Now, I think that I have. I think as I continue to deal with a lot of these things, and I've brought up multiple times that, and I'll say it unequivocally again, the Hunter Biden laptop does not exist. The hard drive that's been, shuffled around is bought and paid for, and is a hodgepodge of real shit and fake shit mixed together, inauthentic nonsense copied multiple times, and inadmissible in a court of law anyways. So it really only has value for its, sort of PR strikes against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden in theory from its made up shit. But none of it's ever going to result in a conviction for anyone using it as evidence or the precursor to evidence. Period. End of story. And let me can I show you guys specifically, and by the way, chat room, I love you guys, so I want to bring you in here. Can I thanks guys. Don't get me misty. It's one of those days. But in the Devin Archer testimony, there were, there's a bunch of stuff, and he talks about, phone calls and the regularity of them, and talking about the weather, and I wanted to be with you alone and talk about the weather. But one of the things I pointed out is that the laptop is bullshit. It's been bullshit. It's always going to be bullshit. If anybody brought it into a court of law, a first-year law student could get it bounced, and that's what we're seeing in all of these hearings. This is from the Devin Archer thing. Let me blow this up a little bit, see if I can move this over here. And this is one of the passages that they're talking, where Comer and some of these dickheads are bringing up stuff that, emails between him and Hunter Biden that are supposedly real. And the issue that he has and his attorneys have is that these are emails that are allegedly from this hard drive called laptop that Rudy Giuliani has been shuffling around and copying and recopying multiple times and organizing files in it in a way that they weren't originally when they got, just fucked up shit. And, again, stuff that would make it unusable. If anybody has any complaints that the Hunter Biden laptop stuff will be completely useless in a court of law, you can blame one person, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani is the primary fuck up who guaranteed that if there were any actual crimes in the details found in Hunter Biden's alleged laptop, or the details, the emails involved in that, that they will never see the inside of a courtroom because of him, specifically. Because even if they saw him on the hard drive and then they went and found the real one, and the real one said exactly what that said on there, the fact that they used this unverifiable, inauthentic thing to find something else, fruit of the poison tree, that's how you get shit thrown out. It's a fakes, it's a illegal search and seizure, blah, blah, blah. So it's gone. Forget about it. Now, it isn't. Like, there's no criming in there. All the contents have been available, and nobody's been able to fucking go, there it is. That's the number. Look at this. This check cleared here. This payment went there. And this thing happened and this change occurred. Nobody's been able to put a B equals C chart on any of this shit together. So, but this is the part that I found fascinating. Okay. This is where we go. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Archer. Thank you. Before I start my questions, I want to come back to documents you were shown during the Republicans' round of questioning. You were shown various documents that appear to be emails. The majority has represented, the Republican staff has represented that they came either from the internet or from a hard drive in their possession that they have refused to date to provide to committee Democrats. And what they mean is the hard drive laptop named laptop. The laptop, hard drive laptop. Mr. Archer, I want to be clear. You are unable to authenticate these emails. Is that correct? I am unable to authenticate. That is correct. You don't have any personal memory or recollection that would allow you to determine whether these emails are in fact authentic. I don't know if they're authentic. They're kind of in the genre of what we talked about. Okay, that's it. There it is. Remember how I brought up the fact that in the, Joe Biden talking to the Council on Foreign Relations, and he goes, I'm leaving here in 6 hours, and if he's not fired, you're not getting the money. And he goes, I'm going to call the president. And he goes, call him. The minute Joe Biden says, call him, that's that. Conspiracy dies. Like the bribery extortion aspect of it goes out the fucking window when you are acting on behalf of the boss. And if the boss agrees with you about the action you are taking, that's it. Unless they find a check to Barack Obama as well, and to every member of Congress who was pushing back against the, corruption in Ukraine. And again, Shokin was not going after Burisma. He was extorting Burisma. He's extorting Zlochevsky by basically saying, give me money or this file finds its way to somebody's desk. I'll keep it in my office as long as the money keeps flowing. The minute you stop paying me, your corruption ends up on somebody's fucking desk. When Shokin was fired, that folder found its way to a desk, and Zlochevsky ended up having to flee the country. So this is the part that makes everything I've been telling you. This is, if you say this is just a deposition too. If you say this in a court of law, you're done. That's it. Your Honor, I'd like to approach. We'd like all of this stuff stricken, and we want that evidence stricken. They cannot. Their expert, who is allegedly engaged in these communications, can't even authenticate that it's real. They have no metadata that proves where the source of this stuff comes from. The general idea that it's around certain deals is inconsequential to the fact that anybody could also put in there we were talking about a trip to the Bahamas. Well, isn't it interesting that there was a murder in the Bahamas? According to this email, you're talking about going to the Bahamas, and here's the date that you said you're going to the Bahamas, and this is the date the dead body was found, and you said, P.S., don't forget to put the dead body in a suitcase and bring it with us. And you're like, wait a fucking second. We were talking about going to the Bahamas. That was true in that general timescape. But I don't know what the fuck this stuff is. Well, maybe you think you don't. But let me show you the metadata of when this email was sent. And it has it. I have the metadata around here somewhere. I know there was metadata. It was a thing. There was a piece. I was like, metadata. I put it under the, and there was a piece of metadata in that's when the judge declares you in contempt and kicks you out of the fucking courtroom. That's when you go from like instantly. You go from being a masterful prosecutor in the Lincoln Lawyer to Rudy Giuliani farting on your co-conspirator and giving her COVID. Yeah, the dog ate the metadata. Don Jr. is popular amongst his many friends. George Santos. Right. Okay, I see what you did there. How do you have Tucker's Twitter interview with Archer on deck? What a piece of work that Devin is. Eyebrows raising like Carter Page. Yeah, well, that's we need more time to do that one because it's longer. So we'll do that tomorrow if that's cool, because it plays into what he said in the actual transcript. And so I want to be able to take isolated parts of that and lay them out if that's okay. So regardless, just a series of magical bits of dumbassery around Trump world. Now, it's bad when Greg Kelly has to go full Glenn Beck on us. And I think the one thing we've all learned is never go full Glenn Beck. And I guess he enjoys having props there. It's the only time he's not, I guess, technically alone in the studio. I know, touche. But this is Greg Kelly. Trump indictment is a political hit job.
Legal, look.
All right.
This is a jumbo calendar, okay?
Okay. I had to take the bus to Office Max, okay? A place I hate. I don't like going there. There's people in there. They're all diversity hires. You can tell, like, these don't look like business people to me. All right.
9 years divided into months, okay? Years and months.
Yes, we understand how calendars work.
108 months altogether. We did this because I think it's interesting. When the
What, you and the Gregorian monks?
Alleged offenses committed by Donald Trump, when they allegedly happened, as to when he was actually processed or charged. So let's go all the way back to 2016, which is all the way up here.
Oh, boy.
This is where the alleged payment thing was Stormy Daniels, right? Then you got to go all the
right. Now, so you've just stopped arguing that was criminal and it actually happened. Cool.
way over here to January 6th. And then
why is there no line on January 6th? Are you going to draw that to the last
8th of 2022, that's when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. So they were kind of all over the place, right?
Yeah, this is fabulous. I don't want to be a dick, but do you even Sharpie, bro? The fuck's wrong with you? I thought you were a Trump fan. Where's your goddamn Sharpie? Fucking kind of scrawly horseshit. This looks like the kind of stuff like a dude with a manifesto all bundled together, like papers written, tied up with string, like, this is my plan for when I take over the world. This is the beginning of one of those, Greg. This is how that shit starts. This is 10 years from now, Greg Kelly on a fucking park bench screaming at the sky about lizard people and UFOs. It started tonight with an ink pen and a dream.
Isn't it wild that all the indictments are falling in this 3-month span on the federal level, and you got this one over here, the local, only 2 months separated from the federal indictments?
Yeah, it's almost like he was president during most of it, and then after he was president, it took time for the DOJ to settle down and get to looking into these crimes because he was able to avoid any of the investigations on any material level because he was president, and he filled the Justice Department and other places with sycophants to run interference for him, like Bill Barr. You know what would have brought this shit, or fucked with this whole timeline? If Bill Barr had just allowed him to have been indicted. He could have stepped down halfway fucking through. Somebody else would. Mike Pence was running the COVID response anyways. He just wouldn't have had to do all those stupid fucking, like, it's fine, why don't you pour some bleach up your butthole?
And how many months did they have to choose from? They waited until within less than a year away from the primary.
Okay, First of all, no. You're leaving out E. Jean Carroll busting his ass. I guess that maybe that's the March one. Is that the local one you're talking about? And again, these dates happen because he punted. He's been pushing these things off. He just runs out of time.
Doesn't that seem suspicious?
No. No, it does not.
Isn't that kind of possibly prosecutorial abuse?
No. I would. You'd have to ask Doctor Who.
Or election interference?
I don't know. But when did he decide to run? What? How about this? Show us on the map or the fucking calendar sketch whatever travesty you have laid out there. Show us on there where he got his target letter that he was the subject of a grand jury, and then the date he decided to run for office, because that happened after.
I think so. All right, take a look at this.
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued.
Mike Pence, there was a way to do it, and people can disagree about that.
Yes, normal people.
I understand, but did you just call them crackpot lawyers?
Yes. Sidney Powell is a fucking crackpot. Rudy Giuliani is a fucking crackpot. DeGeneva is a fucking crackpot. He was surrounded by lunatics, dumb fuck. He wasn't talking about White House counsel. Yeah. Why are you even making the fucking face? Tell you what, why don't you have Sidney Powell on and ask her how it feels when Mike Pence, called you a crackpot? You won't have her on. You know why? She's a fucking crackpot.
That's something coming from Vice President Pence. Where did he?
Yes, I agree. The way he looked at Trump and his longing, loving gaze was weird as fuck. But since Trump is such an egomaniac and at the same time suffers from low self-esteem, he only likes people around him who will stare at him lovingly and are amazed. Oh my God, who made a poopy? What a king. And so you have to be that way to get anything done.
Go to law school. It's fine law school, but it's not all that.
What?
IU McKinney School of Law. Never heard of it, but number 98 in the nation.
It's Illinois University. 98 in the nation.
And I don't think he actually ever practiced law.
Who gives a fuck? Here, you know what, Greg? This is odd, and I have no interest in defending Mike Pence. But one of the things you could say about Mike Pence is that he went to law school and then went, I'm not a good lawyer. I'm not a good attorney. It's not what I do. I'm better suited to, I'm going to be a right-wing radio host or something. I just feel that I'm pulled that my parents wanted me to go to school and get a law degree, but I'm going to, did I say, he went to, Indiana University. What did I say? Did I say Illinois? Sorry, yes, Indiana University. So he went to Indiana University, got his degree because his parents were like, get a law degree, blah, blah, and you can always fall back on that. And then he went into, he thought he was going to go into politics and that kind of shit, and he became a right-wing radio host. So what the fuck degree do you have, Greg Kelly? What the fuck? Your dad was the commissioner of police in New York. That's it. The fuck else are you good for? He's at least got a fallback career, and he was the vice president of the United States. He made it that far. And largely, all of that legal study that he went through, you can go to, this is how fucking stupid Donald Trump is. This is how dumb Donald Trump is. You can go to the 98th rated law school in the fucking country and know that what Donald Trump was trying to do was illegal. You don't even have to be in the top 40.
Rudy Giuliani went to New York University Law School, one of the top 10 in the country.
Right, so everybody can make mistakes.
And became one of the top prosecutors in American history.
Well, I mean, as an Italian man, he helped broom out the Italians so that the Russians and the Chinese could move in. I'm sure they're grateful.
John Eastman went to the University of Chicago Law School and became one of the top academics in the country.
Yeah, if I may, point of order, Mr. Chairman, if I could. Let's see. Let's see. Mm-hmm. 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 Let me just find one thing, okay? I don't want to go there. I want to go. Yeah, there you go. So here's the top mob lawyers in the country. Let's see. Let's go to here. This business. Number 5 is David Breitbart. Interesting name, wouldn't you say? Breitbart is seen all during his 40 plus years as a lawyer. He defended some of the biggest names in the world of organized crime, including the Bonanno crime family, Joseph Massino, before he decided to become a government witness, and drug lord Nicky Barnes. It was his work for Barnes especially that earned him a 5-star reputation among gangsters. Better yet, after one particular huge success for the New York drug boss, he used an untoward word for him. Check out the video of the documentary Mr. Untouchable, in which Breitbart describes the scene in his own words. I'd rather not, actually. And real quick, let's go back to here real quick, and I want to go to take this, and I want to copy that, and I want to put it over here, and then I want to paste this, and then I want to look up laws of David Breitbart. Okay, let's see. I think he goes to David Breitbart practices law, I guess, in New York City, or did, or whatever. Let's see. David Breitbart, one of the New York's top criminal lawyers. There we go. Criminal judge for not giving his client effective counsel. Stopped the trial the second day. Said it was blah blah blah. Let's see. I'm trying to find where he went to school real quick. David Breitbart, law degree. See what that's right. Turned to Brooklyn Law, went to Bridgeport BS. David lawyer Breitbart was born in 1939, educated University of Bridgeport, Bachelor of Science, Brooklyn Law School, got a Juris Doctor in the career. Let's see, law office. Yeah, David Breitbart, attorney in New York. Well, that's just all the stuff. I'm gonna get out of here. Okay, and then we go to Frank Regano. Now that sounds like a mob lawyer here. Frank Regano was from the old school. He defended mobsters when they still ran much of the country, much like Santo Trafficante Jr. and Carlos Marcello and Union Big Jimmy Hoffa back when JFK was shot and it seemed feasible that La Casa Nostra was behind the hit. Did I say feasible? According to Regano, the mob definitely whacked the President of the United States. He claimed that a few days before his death in 1987, Florida mob boss Santo Trafficante Jr. confessed to him that he and New Orleans mafia leader Carlos Marcello had arranged a murder. It was a mistake, Trafficante confided. Carlos Marcello screwed up, he allegedly said. He should have killed John. We should have killed Bobby Kennedy because they fucked up. They just kill one of those Kennedy boys. Number 3, Gerald Shargel. He's the go-to guy for many of America's top crime bosses and unanimously regarded as one of the country's best defense attorneys. The New Yorker once described him as the finest of his generation. He was supposed to represent Salvatore Gravano at his racketeering trial alongside co-defendant John Gotti, but when Gravano turned state's evidence, the plan changed, and Shargel joined Team Gotti to faced Gravano head-on. More recently, Shargel is known for defending hip-hop bigwigs like Murder Incorporated record label owners Irv and Chris Gotti. That's not their real name. They just borrowed it from John Gotti to gain some street cred. And crime boss turned music mogul James Jimmy Henchman Rosemond. He won acquittals for the fake Gotti brothers, but saw Rosemond go to prison for life on racketeering charges. Bruce Cutler. Saul is known for his charm and his charisma in the courtroom, but even he would be blown away by the whirlwind that is Bruce Cutler. They're talking about Better Call Saul. There is nothing Cutler can't or won't do to defend his clients. He's best known for standing tall next to and in front of infamous Gambino crime family boss John Gotti Sr. Let's see. I got to find this out. So where did Bruce Cutler go to school? That's what I want to know. This fella right here. Hold on. Grab this shit. Copy that. Move this over to here. Hold on. I got to go back to there. I want to find out, like, shit. Okay. I'm going to paste. And then, let's see. Went to school. Where'd he go? Fantastic. There we go. Bruce Cutler. There he went to Brooklyn Law School. God, a lot of these guys went to Brooklyn Law. Cutler's father, Murray, was a New York City detective who later became a criminal defense attorney. Boy, that's a flip. While being interviewed on the radio program Conversations with Alan Wolper at WBGO, Cutler said he was inspired by his father's pro-labor, pro-union loyalties to an FDR-style social democratic position. Growing up in Flatbush, he graduated from Poly Prep Country Day School. That sounds gangster. Formerly a Brooklyn assistant district attorney, Cutler gained notoriety in the 80s when he won 3 acquittals for Gambino crime family boss John Gotti. So these fellas, they all went to Brooklyn. All right, here we go. But Eastman went to number 3, went to Chicago Law School.
These are not crackpot lawyers.
Yeah, they are. Howard Hughes was a crackpot at the end of his fucking life. People lose their fucking minds. And these guys trying to engage in criminality by using their awareness of the law and knowing full well it was a crime, but doing it because they thought it would gain them power and the like, is not the crack part of it. He's talking about Sidney Powell and the rest of these folks, and Eastman. I think Eastman is included in that. And Giuliani's just fucking gross and stupid.
Pence is just mimicking what the mainstream media say. It tells you something about Mike Pence.
Yeah, it does. It does. It tells you he's got a line at some point. Speaking of a line, if I do say so myself, let's see. Let me see what they know. Yeah. So this is this is who he's actually talking about. Just so you know. These are the people. Giuliani, who's completely full of shit and has been disbarred. Eastman, who is a power-hungry lunatic who thinks he's going to be the guy, the linchpin to, reconstruct elections in the country. Sidney Powell is a QAnon fuckhead, and Clark is views himself as like his only ticket to ride is absolute power. Who are the Donald Trump co-conspirators in the 2020 election interference indictment? 1, Rudy Giuliani. 2, John Eastman. 3, Sidney Powell. 4, Jeffrey Clark. 5, Kenneth Chesbrough. And co-conspirator 6, we now think is it's a coin flip. But ultimately, they are all those folks are indeed fucking crackpots.
And here's something else about Mike Pence.
Yeah, fuck him.
It really bothers me.
Mm-hmm. He's married to the same woman for a long time and supposedly has Christian values and brought along the evangelicals and got them. He let himself be used to drag evangelical voters to support a man who grabs women by the pussy, a man that he stared lovingly and adoringly at every day and made every excuse in the fucking book for, but he would never leave his daughters or granddaughters unattended around the man. That's not what it is? That's not what it is. Oh.
He could have told people ahead of January 6th, my only duty and role that day is to count the votes, nothing else. He could have said that out loud. He knew his mind was made up, but why didn't he tell anybody?
Jesus, because he shouldn't have to. And I suppose he didn't want to get assassinated.
I mean, he told Mark Short and he told his daughter. So he's driving over to...
And he told the president a bunch of fucking times.
To the Capitol on January 6th. He's pulling up, and we have this from his book. See, he knew what he was going to do. He also knew that nobody else knew.
I turned to my daughter and said with a sigh, God bless those people. They're going to be so disappointed.
Why didn't he roll down the window and say, hey, I'm just going to rubber stamp the whole thing. Sorry. Again, Mike.
That's not the same fucking thing. Wait a minute. Listen to that quote again. That's not a man saying, I've decided right now and you're the only person I'm fucking telling. It was abundantly clear to him that they're going to be disappointed. It wasn't that he was making a decision. He believed there was no decision to be made. It wasn't even a point of conversation like, I'm just going to do it. He's already said, I'm going to do my duty. The expectation that he would do something else is the fucked up part. The idea that anybody thought he would, after all these lawsuits, after all the recounts, after all that shit, that somehow he would decide, you know what, fuck it. This is the time. I'm going to just screw with the entirety of our electoral process. To try and win me and my boss another round that we didn't fucking earn. The news isn't that he did his job. The news is that Trump tried to stop him from doing what was normal and legal.
We also knew that nobody else knew.
I turned to my daughter and said with a sigh, God bless those people. They're going to be so disappointed.
Why did he?
That is not, by the way, at all what Greg Kelly said he just said. Listen to the, this has got to fucking matter at some point. And I know I'm probably the only person who fucking gives a shit. But this is his preamble. You know what bothers me about Mike Pence? Here we go.
Duty and role that day is to Pence. It really bothers me.
Here's what bothered me. This is it.
He could have told people ahead of January 6th, my only duty and role that day is to count the votes, nothing else. He could have said that out loud.
Again, he didn't have to. The expectation that he should even need to say it is the fucked up part. The idea that Trump was even asking him to say anything, and contrary to that. Again, after all the lawsuits, everything was asked and answered. There was no opportunity. We're not talking about, the Kennedy situation where there were 147 votes difference and they had two sets of electors in fucking Hawaii that was not going to be determinative, or the 500 votes in fucking Florida that it turns out Gore ultimately won. And the country moved on from any fucking way. All of this part of it, especially from people seeking re-election, the idea that they would run interference on their own second term to do this is madness. So the fact that he's like, why don't you just make him announce everything that he's not going to do that you want him to do that nobody would do? Just storm into every restaurant going, okay, I'm not going to dip my nuts in everybody's beverage. I'm not going to do it. And I'm just going to let you know that. I believe he thinks I have every right to, and he dared me to do it. But I'm concerned that A, that's illegal, and B, it's gross.
Knew his mind was made up, but why didn't he tell anybody?
Why didn't Trump tell people that Mike Pence had told him that? He lied about what Pence had said.
I mean, he told Mark Short, and he told his daughter.
And he told Trump multiple times.
So he's driving over to the Capitol on January 6th. He's pulling up, and we have this from his book. See,
right, and this is supposedly, listen to Greg Kelly, this is Bongholio territory as far as, asserting something is said that is not said.
He knew what he was going to do. He also knew that nobody else knew.
I turned to my daughter and said with a sigh, God bless those people. They're going to be so disappointed.
Why didn't he roll down the window and say, hey, I'm just going to rubber stamp the whole thing. Sorry. Again,
because they would have murdered him. They were already planning to, you fucking idiot.
Mike Pence, that's his position. And he could.
Yes, his position was, I am going to follow the law, even when I don't like it. I know. Fucking madness.
Defend that position. I disagree with it. Donald Trump disagreed with it. People disagree about stuff all the time. It goes.
Yeah, they just disagree about stuff. Like some people think, you should be able to, if you cremate someone, do you bother to put them in a coffin? I'm reasonable people could be and if you don't want it to be weird that the coffin's really fucking light, I mean, you could always put other stuff in there. You just, fill it with paper and, I don't know, schematics and shit like that, just to give it some heft so that the pallbearers have something even to, carry. And then, like reasonable people would go, I don't know, I think it's kind of fucking gross that you would bury your ex-wife, on a, let's say in a baseball stadium or at a public swimming pool or on a golf course near the first hole. Especially, considering the fact that she was, if indeed, and as I'm speaking hypothetically, if she was cremated.
To the Supreme Court, 5-4 decisions. He could have said something, and it might have precluded a lot of the strife on January.
Strife? How? Dumb fuck, aren't you the one saying one of those assholes saying it's a false flag? What strife? Weren't the feds setting the whole thing up? Wasn't that a bunch of Antifa folks dressed as maggots? How do you stop it if that's the case? If they're already planning it, regardless of the outcome.
6th. Some of the candidates and the stuff they're saying about this indictment, I think it renders them ineligible to be the nominee and to be president. This is Asa Hutchinson. I'm sorry, if you can't see this indictment for the political hit job that it is, you're not qualified. But anyway.
Well, I don't. If you think Greg Kelly is the standard bearer for what qualifies someone for political office, you, in fact, should be nowhere near the levers of power.
The voters that Donald Trump has misled. The indictment talks about that he knew that he had not won the election, but he continued to propagate this idea that he had. He misled his voters. He continues to do that today.
True. That's just a true statement. This is a reality. Trump knew he had lost. We're going to leave it for the next guy. He said to Cassidy Hutchinson, I can't believe I lost to that dude. He was packing his shit. He left. If you didn't believe you lost, why the fuck leave? Why? I mean, genuinely, if you think the level of criminality was that high, how dare you leave? He left because he knew he lost. And he's been lying to the people who voted for him ever since.
I've already been through that about the advisors, Asa Hutchinson, or Ada, as Donald Trump calls him for some reason.
There is no reason. He just forgets. He's an old fuck.
It's not going to happen. Congressman Hurd.
What does that even mean? Address what he said.
Former CIA guy who's running. I wonder why. His denial of the 2020 election results and actions on January 6th show he's unfit for office. Okay. Who are you again? Just good luck with getting people to know who you are.
Right. Look, it's important that Greg Kelly, one of the reasons why he loves Trump is that publicity is more important than reality. If you're known, what you say is automatically more true, which is why he's such a huge fan of the movies of Harvey Weinstein and the comedy of Bill Cosby and the financial advice of Jeffrey Epstein.
Here's a guy I like, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek? If you like him so much, maybe learn how to pronounce his name. Vivek.
This is the reaction.
I'm glad you froze on that frame. Apparently, whoever works in the booth at Newsmax is not as big a fan. Because it looks like he was just, he's like being struck by a tennis racket.
This is the reaction.
We do not want to become a country where the party in power is able to use banana republic-like tactics to eliminate its political opponents.
Okay, that's not what's happening. Agreed. We don't want to become that. We also don't want to become a country where just because you're rich or you served in office, you cannot be charged with the crimes that you have committed, which is very banana republic as well.
Yet I'm sad to say that's exactly where we are.
That's not where we are.
The allegations...
And he's not sad at all, by the way. This asshole is trying to scoop up maggots and either get them to vote for him eventually on something, or as he runs for another office, or buy a book or a seminar or a product or something from him in the future. And therefore, all he's got to do is, kiss Trump's ass long enough and they'll automatically do it. And he can scoop up a bunch of, everybody who's a My Pillow fan has got too many pillows already.
In this indictment fall flat. It is wrong and incorrect and inaccurate to place blame for what happened on January 6th at the feet of Donald Trump.
Good.
Which part? I mean, I blame him for the death of Ashley Babbitt. I blame him for the violence that happened to the cops. I quite frankly, when it came time for a maggot to shit in the rotunda, I kind of blame Taco Bell.
For you, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek.
And he's still a competitor of Donald Trump, but he's doing it the right way.
That's right. He's doing it by kissing his ass.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, he's my VP choice. Of course, Republicans won't vote for somebody who isn't white. So that's a problem. But, cabinet position, for show.
Now let's check in on Joe Biden at the beach again today. Joe Biden at the beach.
There's a beach in Delaware.
It's not Memorial Day weekend. It's not July 4th. It's not Labor Day. It's Wednesday. I mean,
yeah, he's taking a vacation. He's taking a 1 week vacation in the middle of it. He's on his phone the entire time, by the way.
How
talking to
many vacation days do federal employees get? He was at the beach. He also rode his bike all over the place, which is a...
Yeah. How does he do both? Next thing, he'll be swimming, playing badminton.
Bad idea. I already warned him about this, and he's had at least one major fall off that bike.
That wasn't a major fall.
Not good, not good. Now, he went to the beach also last night, which I can't figure out. Who goes to the beach at night?
Thank God the scandal has been uncovered, guys. Joe's leisurely week off. Who goes to the beach at night? Satan worshipers. Jaws fans. Good Lord.
Generally speaking, I don't think older married couples go to the beach. I know some people go to the beach at night, but I don't know. That's a little bit odd. And he went to...
Again, and he went in a tan
the
suit.
movies. And not just...
He went to the movies?
Any movie. He saw a 3-hour movie on a Tuesday night. It's a...
All right. Well, I thought the Devin Archer stuff was going to lead to nothing, but apparently he's done. I'm sorry. I've made a mistake. Joe Biden is over. I don't feel like he can recover from this. Obviously, I mean, it's one thing for the Devin Archer testimony to be a dud, but a 3-hour movie on a Tuesday night, what the hell?
Weeknight.
A weeknight.
It's a school night if you're an adult, kind of. Well, it's not.
All right. I can't. All right. I don't know how much, Greg, I don't know how much dumber you can get. I have faith in you, but I don't know how much more of it I can actually handle.
School night, I guess. But you know what?
Yeah. If you're an adult, it's not a school night. Yes, and he's been an adult for a long fucking time.
But I mean, he should have...
No, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. I don't know why you brought up it's a fucking school night. The dude's a grandparent.
Be going to a 3-hour movie. What did he see? Oppenheimer. I saw that movie and I could not stay for the whole 3 hours.
Jesus Christ. So you don't have the stamina? What was it? Your bladder? It happens to some men at a certain point, Greg.
Had to get back to my life. I had stuff to do and I'm not.
I had stuff to do. So obviously you were alone.
The president of the United States. I just have a show on channel 333. I had to get back to work. I could.
Well, why'd you buy the fucking ticket then? Dum-dum? How did you not know? What movie were you? All right. God damn it.
I didn't stay for the whole thing. I did stay through the test in New Mexico. Overrated.
Jesus Christ. I did stay through the test in New Mexico.
Movie.
Overrated movie. You didn't even see the fucking end, dum-dum. How do you know? You can't say... All right. Shit. He's just mad because there was so much in it that he had no idea ever happened.
Anyway,
it was a terrible movie that I walked out of, not because it was bad, but because I had to be somewhere because I'm fucking dumb and I don't know what time it is. What the shit? Who goes on a fucking school night and then he goes to the beach? I'm exhausted watching the guys riding his bike. It's just a mistake. I get exhausted riding the fucking bus. God damn it. This is the thing. And he's just doing it to attack Donald Trump.
Next, please, the judge in the case. We have to talk about her for a second.
She is indeed black. So
Tanya Shutkin. This is a bad judge. I'm not saying she's bad. I don't know about her.
You're not?
This is a bad judge. I'm not saying she's bad. I don't. Shutkin. This is a bad judge. I'm not saying she's bad. I don't know about her record, but.
This is, all right, we have to mark this down. This is officially Greg Kelly in a nutshell. This clip is everything wrong with Greg Kelly as a broadcaster, as a man, as a Fisher-Price character.
Bad for the Trump case because
well, yeah,
she has major conflicts.
Oh, dear.
Take a look at this. She worked at Hunter Biden's law firm. You can't spend...
Spent 12 years at a law firm where Hunter Biden was employed. At Boies Schiller Flexner? Wait, so Hunter Biden was a lawyer for 12 years at a firm? Doing real work? Starting to think he might have known a thing or two about a thing or two.
12 years at the law firm where Hunter Biden worked. Boies Schiller Flexner or whatever. It's you
or whatever
can't be there. That's just a major conflict of interest.
At the same time, and even if she was, what the fuck does it? All
Next, please. Let's see. The judge donated $1,500 to Obama in 2008 and 2009.
All right. So you're basically saying Eileen Cannon cannot be trusted.
I'm sorry, that renders her ineligible to preside over a case where President Trump is the defendant, and I think we have one.
Why? Biden never ran against, Obama never ran against Trump. And you think that she isn't in the history of America, because she's a Democrat, period, whatever her political affiliation is, she's definitely not Dershowitz, for example. She's gonna donate to his campaign. I'm just saying. Are you fucking bananas? Oh, good Lord.
More. What is it? Number 3. She.
Geography. That'll do it. You know, Trump lived in Washington, D.C. I think he's probably got to recuse himself from his own case. He should shut the fuck up.
Lives in Washington, D.C. Now, why is that? Why is that a problem? Well, if you watch local news in Washington, D.C., they talk about January 6th like it was Pearl Harbor, like it.
They were there, motherfucker. Doesn't make any difference. They also talk about regular crime, and she presides over shit like that, too. She's a judge. I don't give a fuck what's on Good Morning, D.C.
Was, here in New York, like 9/11 or Hurricane Sandy. It's something that affected all of Washington, D.C.
Right.
They're very melodramatic about it.
They're very, oh, I see. That's right. So Greg's saying that New York is being melodramatic about 9/11 and about Sandy. Okay.
And also, the town is 92.1% Democrat. And according to the...
So is she, though? How do we measure this? Do you have to pee in a cup? I will.
Constitution, Donald Trump, under the 6th Amendment, is entitled, all Americans are entitled to an impartial jury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why his lawyers will get to question jurors, and so will so will the prosecutors. Yeah. So I think what you should really garner from that is that Donald Trump should shut the fuck up and not try to weight the jury in his direction.
And it's impossible for him to get one in Washington, D.C.
Why? Why? Do they want to be the people who like get it overturned and cause more damage? Do they want to convict him just because they fucking hate his face and then have that result in another January 6th in their fucking yard? Or do they want to actually rule on the evidence in front of them and treat it as seriously as it is so that they don't have another January 6th?
All right, folks, we need your help. We'd like to know how you feel about this indictment.
Oh, fuck off. You're not farming shit. What? What? All right. I can't. That's shit. HAL, all the beer I've been drinking is messing up my kidney. Well, it will, because the kidney will mess you up. So, I can't. The fact that this motherfucker is basically pulling a a Russell Brand. You put the comments below. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to comment. Don't fucking comment below. Oh, fucking comment. Oh, God. That is the CSL. You have outdone yourself, my friend. That is the that is the worst fucking Greg Kelly, the perfect example and the worst fucking example of like broadcast journalism at its worst. Like the ass and the butt knuckle of I'm stunned. I'm fucking stunned. Let's see. There's oh god damn it, there's so much to cover and I don't have time. So I do want to show you this because this is a couple of our favorite people. Real quick, I think this one's shorter. Yeah, it is. Okay, this is ladies and gentlemen, if I may, this is Christina Bobb, who is one of Trump's Trump's. Now they call her Trump attorney, Christina Bobb. I don't know that that's true anymore, but she's on Stankfield Tonight on the Rav Network, real asshole voice. Pardon me, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Yeah, she's having a rough one. But this is Christina Bobb, former Trump attorney and sucker. I mean, figuratively.
They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he believed the election was fair. And I don't think there's a person in this country who believes beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump thought this was a fair election.
Right, there you go. Thank you so much, Christina Bobb, right out of the gate for explaining his defense in the Georgia case. That's what this is about. In the Georgia case, like I said, Trump has the biggest and easiest out in regard to that case because his defense is a completely believable one in that I'm so fucking stupid, I eventually believe my own lies. And the judge, like the jury in that courtroom is probably going to go, fuck, you got me. I actually think you're that much of an asshole. It won't work in the documents case, and it's not going to work in the Jan 6 case, because in the Georgia case where he's saying, find me these other votes, the idea is that I really believe there were more than enough votes out there that were for me that were just being hidden, and you just got to find them. So please find them, and blah, blah, blah. That would be enough. And he could probably get around it. Now, there are other communications that they may have access to, emails and stuff like that from people, or conversations or witness statements that point to the fact that he knew he had lost Georgia, and he was just like, fuck this, make some votes for me. And that's what he meant, and they can show that that's what the tie was. Maybe they have that, and that's why they're going after him. But in terms of the documents case, or the newest indictment around January 6th, he fucking knew he didn't have the right to instigate an attack on the Capitol and stop the count using violence, and then have his electors step in and have other people do a pause for 10 days, and then have his state legislature buddies, who his people had tried to put in place all over the country, upend the real votes of the people there. And that's why he's, violating the rights of every American as part of the new.
So they
charges.
have quite an uphill battle, notwithstanding the advantages that they have from the venue.
Christina, last night on this program, I called this the greatest indictment to ever come down against President Trump. And
No, I I don't think so. I think the greatest one is the documents case, because that's the one where he lost the most support amongst regular run-of-the-mill Republicans, and he's the guiltiest, and he was the most slapdash, and it's material. People told not to move boxes, not to touch shit, lock stuff up, and don't lay a finger on it, who are on film doing precisely that, bringing him boxes that he's not supposed to look through to get shit out of it, and then hiding it in his desk, and it's found later. Like, it's material criminality. Not, in my head, I thought I was just talking. I was just telling people, like, we should attack that place, and I didn't really mean it. I didn't realize that that's what we're talking about.
And I call it that for this reason. This is basically a disinformation indictment. I mean, it's all, President Trump said this, did that. It's a First Amendment speech. But
no, it is not.
Jack Smith raises voting irregularities in Michigan. He talks about what happened in Nevada. He raises the issues in Georgia that, to me, have never still been proven false, any of these allegations.
Yeah, because you can't prove a negative in that regard. There's been no evidence that there were any irregularities. That's what you have to fucking show. Nobody's been able to do it. Nobody's been able to show any irregularities that actually would change the outcome. And in the cases of people actually getting busted for voting twice or voting illegally or voting on using the ballot of their dead wife that they fucking murdered and voted on her behalf for Trump during the time she was, they were telling people she was just missing, all of those people voted for Trump.
He talks about Detroit, Michigan. You can now...
Right, because that's where the accusations came from.
Go on the offensive. You can make...
Do it. Yes. Yes, Christina Bob. Go on the offensive. Because being offensive has been, Trump's, I guess, is, I don't know if we would call it his SOP, his standard operating procedure. But it certainly is his character.
Make a witness list and subpoena every single executive, every single Secretary of State, every single election worker, every single person that signed an affidavit. You can now start hauling all of these people into court. You can now try to prove the case that the election actually was stolen.
No, you can't.
Thank you, Jack Smith.
Yeah, he finally gave us the venue that no other federal court was willing to give us and gave us national subpoena power. So thank you.
Thank you.
But also, just to add to your point, not only does he raise all of these different issues with the state, but he doesn't even limit it to President Trump's time in office between November 3rd and January 6th. He raises issues about the Arizona audit and the Michigan investigation from the Michigan Senate, which all came later in 2021 and beyond. He goes into a lot of the investigations that took place well after President Trump had left office, which means the whole thing is open. And Grant, I know you've done a great job covering.
And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to watch the new Mike Pillow movies that are going to be made. His 5-day symposium he's going to do in Tempe in a sweat lodge.
Covering this on your show, there's a lot of information out there and a lot of investigations, particularly in Wisconsin and Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania.
Oh, yes, there are.
That have all come to light well after President Trump left office. And because
yes, that showed fuck all.
Because he put that in the indictment, all of that becomes fair game now.
Yeah. Go for it. Yes, please. Please go after this shit again and make every Trump voter convinced, convince every single one of them that you cannot trust voting again. That it was all rigged and riggy-rig. Good Lord. So that's the new plan. That's the theory. There you go. That's Christina Bob. And that's the people holding the, oh, where is this? Hold on one second. No, that's the one. We got everything. Yeah. Oh. And I'm not going to cover this one because it's too long and we're out of time. But I want to show you, because we've covered way too much Glenn Beck lately as well, because he's just being a dick about all this stuff, and he's, what an asshole. Let me just show you, yeah, we know he's an asshole, but how much of an asshole he is. Look who he brought on to defend Trump and around the indictments. Who do you call? Who does Glenn Beck call to defend Donald Trump? Fucking Dershowitz. I'm literally, yeah, I'm right. Sorry. dropped my fart gun. I was so excited. That's how bad. That's how fucking bad it is. That is how bad it is for Donald Trump. That the single person making the most rounds to protect Donald Trump, or say that, this is to defend him on a legal level that isn't a lawyer for him directly, and that's their fucking job, or his tele-lawyers, his TV lawyers that he hires from the Dick Wolf casting couch, like Christina Bobb and Alina Habba Habba and that crowd. This is the guy, fucking Dershowitz, just singularly one of the most disgusting people that practices law in the United States. He and Giuliani vie for being the two most disgusting fucking lawyers in the country. And considering the fact that we spoke about mob lawyers today, you should be, abundantly, I'm pulling no punches on this. Dershowitz is fucking gross. And again, to anybody who thinks, well, yeah, birds of a feather, absolutely. For anybody who thinks that, well, there needs to be somebody out there defending Donald Trump, and somebody's got to, with a legal mind, has got to go. If you can't find somebody better than Dershowitz, you're fucking guilty. You're guilty. If that's it, if that's the only person coming to your defense, everybody else is not willing. Criminal defense attorneys who can argue that everybody deserves a fair trial. And what I see is this is not a thing. And if I were doing this, if I was defending him, this would be because they can sell themselves as defense attorneys just by shit talking the law or shit talking the charges, because that's what criminal defense attorneys do. You could, honest to God, think about this. If you ever brought a criminal defense attorney on a show to discuss what possible pushback the prosecutor could have in an indictment that comes out. Here's an indictment. And today we don't have anybody who's working on the case with the actual person, but you've read the indictment. What would you do if you were in the situation with the information that you had to defend them against this? And any fucking mid-level criminal defense lawyer could give you some great fucking TV. They could absolutely sit there and go, well, I would immediately file this, and this. I'd try to get this thrown out. I'd deal with these aspects of it. And I would argue this point is completely flawed. And then I would make this PR approach because I think it's a travesty. And then you could probably, in that crowd, find some people who actually like Trump that would come out and do this. You can't. They're coming up empty. The only person that they're getting to come out and talk on Trump's behalf, fucking Dershowitz. And I guess Jonathan Turley kind of counts as well. But very rarely. And he comes on as a network legal analyst, which is very different. Dershowitz will go fucking anywhere. But let me explain to you. If the only guy coming out to defend you and say that, the charges against you are complete bullshit is a guy who once argued that statutory rape shouldn't exist, and admits to getting multiple massages at Jeffrey Epstein's house because that was normal there, you're fucked. You are, if your attorneys aren't calling him and telling him to shut the fuck up and stop talking about our client and our case because you're ruining, if your lawyers are incompetent, send him a cease and desist letter. If you're in Trump world, because what the shit? And the fact that Glenn Beck is bringing on Alan Dershowitz, a man who admits to getting multiple massages in the home of Jeffrey Epstein, who went to the island, admits it, flew to the island with Jeffrey Epstein on his private plane. And before and after that, got massages at Epstein's house. Because who doesn't go to their friend's house and get a massage in one of the rooms? Because that's fucking normal. And Glenn Beck is bringing this motherfucker on to defend Donald Trump. So at a certain point, we all know, like, Dershowitz is a known quantity. These two guys are both gross. Glenn Beck paints himself as some sort of pious Christian, weeping in front of Christian groups, talking about epiphanies, about the path of the Lord that he's talking about. And this motherfucker's going to have on Alan Dershowitz? That's all you could find. And we all know that Glenn Beck is not above filler. Holy shit. He'll yammer through multiple segments and blow it off. Just, fuck it. I'll just talk shit till we get to commercial. I make a funny voice, and I do the voice that I do. And that'll, and this will be the end of the world. And then he cues the fucking commercial. We've seen him do it a dozen times. At least. A week, a month. But apparently on the day that he decided I can't fill the time. I can't explain why I want to defend. So please bring on Alan Dershowitz onto the show. I don't get it. I fucking don't get it. Yeah, I couldn't find Charles Manson. That's exactly right. These guys, shit. Clip is too long. Yeah, I know. I'm not doing it's 16 minutes. There's no way I'm fucking doing that. And I don't need to look at those assholes for 60 seconds. It's too much. Time for a Pee Wee Herman homage. I know. That's true. I'll even pay Steve to give me a old people are funny. Well, some of them are. God damn it. Like Alan Arkin was funny. God, that's sad. Was that a tease? Yes, this is it. I'm going to do, tomorrow we're going to do the Devin Archer Tucker Carlson interview. And I have not decided whether I'm going to pre-watch it or not. Probably not. But I'm going to pull stuff from from his statement because I read a bunch of it. And I want to, go through parts of it and kind of like isolate them, almost making tiles so that I can show you guys parts of it that I think will probably come up as, in conversation as far as what he's able to say and what he's not able to say. But I will say this, that the difference between what he said to Tucker Carlson and what he said in the deposition that he gave to the House committee is that he was under oath with the House committee and he was not with Tucker Carlson. And since most of what he's talking about is unverifiable, and he even admits that, we'll take it with a grain of salt. But like I said, none of it's going to amount to a fucking hill of beans, and he knows it more than anybody's. How you should show the Giuliani titty quote. I did, Adam. We talked about that yesterday morning, the morning show on Wednesday, just as soon as I came back. Yes, 24 more likes to go before we hit 1,000. I'm not leaving till we hit 1,000. Let's just let everybody like the show. If you're on YouTube, hit that like. If you're on Twitch, throw some bits our way or something like that. Help us go out with a bang. Super chats are very much welcome in the Venmo over there. Right now we're trying to save up for a new computer. Next week, more than likely, because I'm going to be lonely and it's just going to be just the two of us, you and me. I'm probably going to have a couple of days where I just stay on all fucking day and do like a telethon to try and raise money to get that computer sooner because I want to jump into that. So did we hit it? We hit it? Come on, look at that. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Also, if you feel like it, comment in the comment section of the videos that we post on YouTube. It annoys me when Russell Brand manipulates you to do it. If you're so moved, please do so. But the reason he wants you to do it is because it helps with the algorithm. It really does, and they know this. And so his contract with Rumble says that very thing. So, anyways, I adore you guys. I will see you in the morning. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And trust me when I say this. Reach out to somebody you may not have spoken to in a bit and tell them you love them and you miss them and you hope they're doing well. If that's appropriate language and it won't scare them to get a call out of the blue like that. At the very least, let them know you're thinking about them because it will help. It will help them. Because a lot of people are going through a lot. And I have sat with and spoken with several people in situations like that recently, both family members and friends. And I'm happy to say that I'm in a good spot so that I can be there for them, so that I can stand for them or help them or assist, you know, because if you can be the strong one, if you can get somebody like patch the gaps as they were, it's a good feeling. And it's, if you have the ability to do it, and a lot of times all it takes is a, hey, how you doing? I think you're wonderful. I just wanted you to know. Sometimes you don't know when that's going to land with somebody right at the right time. And it's never the wrong time, you know, unless, of course, it's a stranger and you whisper it while they're sitting on a bus. I love you and I miss you. What the fuck? Who are you? That obviously that would be wrong. But yeah, MAGA relatives, they're having a rough one. But genuinely, I mean that. We'll talk about it in the future, and I'll bring it up on the morning shows, and we'll discuss this over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, just doing a lot of like hugging and praying lately. So that's it. Okay. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. See you in the morning.